So what was the question again? Oh, why is it called the traffic jam? Well, you know, the reason is, it's because I have two really cool cars. Seriously cool cars. And I love drifting, racing, because I am fast and slick. And plus, I like to create a bit of traffic jam myself with a whole lot of great music. Bulumaka, my name is Rio, your host and DJ, right here on the Today FM Traffic Jam every weekday from 3 p.m. to 7. Right here on Today FM, today's hit music.
In this bulletin, UN High Commissioner on Human Rights praises Fiji. High temperatures expected to remain. And PIDF interim boss outlines 6 months work plan. Good evening, I'm Jackie Spate, and this is FBC News. The UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, Zaid Rad Al Hussein, has praised the government's progress in delivering human rights to all Fijians. During talks in Geneva with Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama, the High Commissioner spoke of the PM's determined leadership on human rights reforms. Ritika Pratap reports.
Al Hussein said it was a rare pleasure to meet with the head of government of a country making such exemplary progress. He cited Fiji's complete abolition of the death penalty, a policy he described as noxious, and the progress it is making in ratifying the United Nations Convention Against Torture. Al Hussein congratulated Bainimarama on what he called his fine speech to the UN Human Rights Council on Monday. He says the office wanted to use Fiji as an example to other countries which had yet to implement the same kind of progressive measures. The High Commissioner also praised Fiji for what he termed its enormous contributions to the international community in the area of peacekeeping. He says Fiji has demonstrated clearly that the size of any country is no barrier to the impact it could make in multilateral affairs. The High Commissioner also says his office wants to work more closely with Fiji's mission to the UN in Geneva to step up its assistance to the Pacific region. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
The former Divisional Surveyor Western Shiri Narayan has been charged with extortion by a public officer. Narayan, who has been charged by FICAC, appeared in the Nandi Magistrates Court this afternoon. It's alleged in September 2006, whilst employed in the public service, he accepted $10,000 for approving a transfer and a change of a lease. Narayan will reappear in court next month, where he will take a plea. He has been released on bail with strict conditions. UN Women Ending Violence Against Women Program Specialist Melissa Alvarado says violence against women in Fiji is still very serious. Alvarado made this comment referring to the National Research on Women's Health and Life Experiences report by Fiji Women's Crisis Center launched in 2011. The women's specialist says nothing has changed over the years and violence against women is still a concern. Shireen Lata reports.
The report launched 4 years ago showed 64% women face physical and sexual violence during their lifetime. These high figures are still a disturbing issue.
We also learned that 2 out of 5 women have to ask permission from their husbands before seeking health care, and that 15% of women have been beaten during pregnancy. The study showed that 57% of women report that their husband or partner insists on knowing where they are at all times. So these are all sort of signals of violence against women.
Alvarado says over the years, Fiji has adopted legislation and policies to address violence against women and gender equality. Authorities have also tried to scale up services for survivors of violence and working on prevention efforts through school curriculum. However, there's a long way to go.
We need to make sure that the first person that any survivor speaks to is the right person. And so that means that whoever they speak to, if it's a police officer, a health worker, a social welfare officer, or counselor, or perhaps a friend or a community member or maybe a pastor, they have good information and they can give them guidance on where to go to seek help.
Minister for Women Rosie Akbar says various projects and programs are implemented to curb this issue.
The number of cases being reported is rising. But on the other hand, cases being reported on the rise doesn't mean that we have curbed domestic violence. And we have an interagency task force where we have other stakeholders who are on board with us, including our Fiji police force.
Fiji's progress on eliminating violence against women will be discussed at the 59th session of the Commission on the Status of Women in New York next week. Sharin Lata, FBC News.
Former Foreign Affairs Permanent Secretary Amina Yavoli is looking forward to his 6-month stint with the Pacific Islands Development Forum. Yavoli has been appointed the Interim Secretary General for PIDF. He will hold the post until a substantive appointment is announced at the Leaders Summit in August. Yavoli succeeds Tuvaluan Filetiteo, who is now the Executive Director of the Western and Central Pacific Fisheries Commission. Yavoli says his work is cut out for him, but with his years of experience in trade and foreign affairs, finalizing PIDF's establishing document and legalizing the institution footprint will be critical.
The importance of the PIDF agreement is that it will enhance Fiji's legal, the organization's legal standing. As you know, the Fijian government has accorded the privileges and immunities provisions to PIDF Secretariat under the 1971 Act, and this was done in June last year. We are grateful for that, and the challenge that we have now is in terms of the consultations on how member countries can be able, and all other stakeholders can be able, to fully understand, the importance of this process as we move forward to August 12th to the 14th for the third summit.
It's understood that a non-Fijian national is being sought for the substantive SG post as Fiji initiated the establishment of the PIDF. In the news ahead, Roads Authority stores up on Bailey Bridges.
Wala ko na siya matumay, hana ko na paro taki na yan rubang ikebika na matumay buga tali tigun na bisere wara kimuni na ko na paro taki ngo na yan rubang enambula FM nimbulo binaka oya ubika na isoro ranyo na tumani omai mai na bito na kabiki na tini karuwa ng pangilebu ena ngo na paro taki sikoya na yan rubang enambula FM enambandua enasere.
Welcome back. This is FBC News. Soaring temperatures in the early to mid-30s have prevailed over the past few weeks, and weather forecasters say these humid days and dry nights are expected to remain for some time. Chanel Sivan reports.
As temperatures rise during the day, members of the public take to any form of shelter or shade from the blistering sun. We are in the middle of the cyclone season, but we have not had enough rain.
The sea temperatures around Fiji right now are much warmer than normal. About a degree or two warmer than normal. So if the sea temperature is warm, then the air temperature is warm. It's as simple as that. So there's no sign of the seas cooling anytime soon, so we're really stuck with this hot weather for another couple of months, I would think.
The University of the South Pacific's Climate Change Research Fellow, Dr. Antoine Nayut, says Fiji has not experienced a cyclone since 2012.
All of this heat has been accumulating in the ocean, and when we have a cyclone, it does take some of this heat away. So at the moment we have been having very calm and hot days, which has been creating this build-up of temperature. Dr.
Nayut says Fiji immediately needs a cyclone to cool the temperatures, or this heat will continue for another few months.
This is the first time we are experiencing this type of weather around Nindi, and I think another 2 months to go for the hurricane season to pass by. So hopefully we don't have the hurricanes, and we hope to, on and off, we have some rain so it really cools down,
I think that if we can plant a lot of trees it can help mitigate the effects of climate change.
इस साल के गर्म जो है हम तो बहुत ज़्यादा गर्म है हम सोचता है
I think these days are really very hot compared to previous years. I'm feeling the hot weather a lot this time.
हमें गर्म लगे है कि हम वास्तव में गर्म ज़्यादा है ये बात तो हम नहीं सकता बोले लेकिन बहुत ज़्यादा गर्म लगे है.
The Met Office says the sun is nearer to the earth and that is one of the reasons why it is so hot.
It's a lot of sunshine. We maybe roughly 10 hours of sunshine when we are in the summer period, compared to the dry season, where maybe only 8 hours of sunshine. So that is one contributor, the amount of sunshine since we are in the summertime, and about 10 hours of sunshine per day. That is generating a lot of heat. So the heat is more than our dry or winter season, to speak. And same time too, there's a lot of heat has been trapped in the atmosphere.
The Weather Office says it sees activities in the waters to the north of Rotuma and could develop into a cyclone by next weekend, with rain bands affecting the northern side of Fiji. Acting Director of Meteorology Amaniasi Tuinraki says it's highly likely that if developed into a cyclone, this system will move towards Vanuatu. All Fiji can do is hope that heavy rain bands or a tropical cyclone falls upon Fiji to clear the hot and humid temperatures. Chanel Shivan, FBC News.
The Fiji Roads Authority has brought in Bailey Bridge components as part of its plans to respond to disasters more effectively and quickly. The bridge is one of 25 Bailey bridges that will be brought in by the authority this year. Watisoni Rakandroka reports.
The pieces are being joined for what is shaping into a new Bailey Bridge. The FRA has brought components of the bridge and today they were being assembled at the depot in Nosori. FRA Program Manager Bridges and Jetties, Nixon Toremana says after they will procure a contractor to store the components of the bridge.
His role would basically to store these Bailey components on both islands. He was responsible for maintaining them, managing them, and also launching them when there's a disaster.
Nixon says they intend to buy more Bailey bridges next year.
So by having these Bailey bridges, it puts us, as I've said, in a better position to be able to say to the public, look, we're going to install the bridges within 2 to 3 days. No more traffic will be back to the normal way of doing things. So which means that the economical development in Fiji will continue to run even though there's a disaster.
This shipment is worth $1.95 million and is being supplied to FRA by Mabi Bridge Limited from the United Kingdom. Watisoni Rekanroka, FBC News.
The government's Department of Information has been tasked to receive designs for Fiji's new national flag. Entries can be submitted by email, by post or by hand delivery to the office at government buildings in Suva. A statement says the design can be submitted in any format but must be in colour. Entries for the flag design competition close at 4:30 p.m. on Friday, May the 1st. One of the region's largest theological colleges, the Pacific Theological College, is celebrating its 50th anniversary. More than 500 guests, including former students, will gather in Suva tomorrow for the celebrations. Sakius and Ivor went to find out more about the school's history.
From its humble beginnings 50 years ago with only less than 20 staff members and students, the college has grown to more than 100 registered students. Established in 1965, it opened for training in 1966 and was originally designed as the only regional institution to offer degree-level education in theology. PTC Principal Reverend Professor Dr. Fele Terika Nokisi says the courses are available primarily to students from Pacific Island churches.
The Pacific Theological College was established as a result of a decision by a meeting of all the church leaders in Samoa in 1961. And the leaders decided that our churches need a regional college where the graduates from the theological schools of our churches can attend and pursue higher degrees.
The school is owned by 20 church members of the region and it's the first of its kind in the Pacific to offer undergraduate programs. Today, PTC offers theological education at diploma, degree, master's and doctorate levels. It has a distance education wing that incorporates the Institute for Research and Social Analysis and hosts the God's Pacific People program. Reverend Raleigh Tingarea from Rambi is proud to be an ex-student of the school.
My experience here is one of a kind, because coming from a Methodist tradition and only going to school with other Methodist ministers and coming to an ecumenical setting like PTC, it's a lifetime experience where we come and mix with other denominations, live together, study together, and do things together. It's an experience on its own.
Celebrations began yesterday with a church service. This grounds at Nasise will be a hive of activity from tomorrow morning as guests celebrates the 50th anniversary of the Pacific Theological College. And in true island style, celebrations will continue well into the night for this momentous occasion. Sakiu Sanebua, FBC News.
Sports now, and Akosita is here with the very latest.
Good evening. Coming up in sports, team ready for Mari Sevens and Fiji Under 23 footballers gear up for Pacific Games. Stay with us for that and more after the break.
बॉलीवुड हीरो बनती रे. Get this.
हीरो सपना दिखेला बंद करो.
क्या करो यार, सबको आती नहीं, मेरी जाती नहीं. मिर्ची मस्त मॉर्निंग में हूँ अश्निल सिंह.
हाय, मैं हूँ काजल.
शामिल हो जाए हमारे साथ मंडे टू फ्राइडे
6 AM to 9 AM.
मिर्ची FM, it's hot.
Leading our sports tonight, organizers of the 39th Fbctv Mari Sevens are expecting a sellout crowd at the ANZ Stadium in Suva from tomorrow. Tickets have been selling like hotcakes since Monday, yet orders are still coming in from fans eager to watch the best local teams in action over the next 2 days.
Calls for tickets have been coming in quite steadily over the last 1 week, in fact. Calls for free tickets are basically more than paid tickets, and that's a fact of life. We have to deal with that. But most importantly, I think people get to have a bargain by paying $7 flat tomorrow, and then $12 at the grandstand on Saturday for at least 209 games. And that's quite affordable to watch Fiji's very best as we continue. Grassroots is all about Rio at the 39th Fbctv Mari Sevens.
The Yamadia rugby team is focusing on consistency under the unbearable heat come the Fbctv Mari Sevens tomorrow. The Nandronga-based team rounded up their final preparations at the NASA gym in Namaka yesterday. Josephine Avula has more.
With only few hours remaining for the Fbctv Mari Sevens to kickstart, the Yamadia rugby team is working on its fitness levels to beat the unbearable heat in Suva.
It's going to be a different scenario in Suva where the teams are going to be really strong from pool games, and we all know that there's 2 elimination rounds, so we are working on how we can conserve so much energy so that we can carry on in the second day with the tournament. So
Takwitonga adds that apart from improving the standard in the key areas, keeping the players hydrated is one of the key factors they are highlighting during training.
I'm planning on a lot of fluid on the boys. We're working on some of those electrolyte liquids and stuff that can probably sustain themselves with the performance, and you can only do so much. So we're just hoping for the best when it comes to the heat.
The players are also out to impress National Sevens coach Ben Ryan.
We have a young side. We have most of my development boys that are in, but they're very good in terms of trying their best to try and impress Ben Ryan and other selectors.
The Fbctv Mari Sevens begins tomorrow at the ANZ Stadium in Suva. Josephine Avula, FBC Sports.
The Covenant Brothers rugby team will be one of the underdogs at the 39th Fbctv Mari Sevens tournament, which starts tomorrow. With injured National Sevens captain Osia Kolinisau standing in as coach, the Suva-based team is ready to give the big guns a run for their money. Rohit Dale with the details.
He may not be able to play at this week's tournament, but that doesn't deter him from being part of the tournament, even though be it from the sidelines. The injury Colony South suffered at the Las Vegas tournament is recovering well, and he is looking forward to helping out his side at the Maris tournament.
It's getting really better, really fast. So really positive signs coming out. Looking forward to this Maris Sevens as a spectator. And looking forward to help my team out from the sideline in the today event.
Colony South's team has been preparing well, and they just might be the surprise outfit for bigger teams who may be taking them lightly.
It's been really good. We're building up really slowly towards it. We're just working on last final things here. Just some of our set pieces move before we get into the game tomorrow.
Oscar, as he is better known, has played many a times at the Maris Sevens and says this is the tournament players in the country look forward to.
It's always a challenge to play in the Maris Sevens, especially because it's prep before Hong Kong. It's the biggest tournament you play before Hong Kong, and there's always a lot of players vying for position to go to Hong Kong. It's the mecca of sevens, and plenty of people try and show up during Maris Sevens to book a ticket for Hong Kong. As you can see, the hype all around. There's a lot of national players vying for position back in the team. So it's one of those bigger tournaments that you wanna play in. I think a lot of players wanna play in and prove themselves, because a lot of clubs, top clubs from around Fiji, come and play in it.
The team has been playing for some time together now, and results are expected to be seen in the upcoming tournaments. This is a team not considered by many as a threat, but come game day, they just might prove all wrong. Rohit Deo, FBC Sports.
The World Rugby Pacific Challenge is all set to get underway next week at the ANZ Stadium in Suva. The 5 teams that will compete against the Telkom Fiji Warriors will start arriving into the country from tomorrow. Organizers are excited about the concept of having the teams competing in one country, and fans can be able to witness top-class action.
World Rugby is very proud to bring the Pacific Challenge to Fiji, which is a rich rugby heartland where our game enjoys significant support. The Pacific Rugby Challenge is a key development tournament and has added significance in this Rugby World Cup 2015 year.
6 countries are coming into one location to play competitive rugby. You will have noted what Mr. Group was saying, that it is especially important for our development pathways, especially in Fiji. You know that many a times our local players and our unions talk about being neglected and not necessarily being considered for World Cup rugby. This is an ideal time for them to step up.
The competition gets underway on Tuesday in Suva. The Fiji Under-23 football team has stepped up preparations for the upcoming Pacific Games in July. The side will break camp today after training at the Fiji Football Academy grounds in Ba for the past 3 days. Coach Carlos Buzetti says the players are showing good potential, and he has been happy with what he has seen during the camp.
We select these players through the games we were looking last year and this year. So the different competitions, and we think it's the best players available at the moment.
The Pacific Games will be held on the 4th to the 18th of July in Papua New Guinea. Australia posted a World Cup record total of 417-6 as they beat Afghanistan by 275 runs, the biggest winning margin in the Cricket World Cup history. David Warner hit 178 off 133 balls. Steve Smith scored 95, while Glenn Maxwell struck 88 in 39 deliveries in the Pool A encounter in Perth. Afghanistan were then dismissed for 142, with Mitchell Johnson and Mitchell Stark taking 6 wickets between them. Australia's scores surpassed the 413 for 5 India made against Bermuda in 2007. Meanwhile, tonight, right here on Fbctv, you can catch the highlights of the Scotland and Bangladesh match at 10. And that was your sports this evening. Join us again at the same time tomorrow. It's back to Jackie for business.
Contiki Capital Group has predicted a 4% weighted average growth for share prices and a 4% average on income return for the stock exchange market for 2015. Ellen Stolz reports.
Contiki Capital Group is an investment banking operation based in Suva. For the past 15 years, it has provided a range of services regarding stockbroking, fund management, and annually makes market predictions for the next 12 months. Company Managing Director Griffin Emose says they are anticipating a good year.
There's never been a better time to list for companies, both corporates as well as state-owned enterprises. You've got the liquidity in the market, you've got growing investment demand, you've got some very attractive incentives put in place by government, and then of course you've got confidence coming back for both companies and investors after the elections. So now's the time to list.
The market index grew 18% to end at its highest level since 2010. Out of the 18 companies listed on the stock exchange, 2/3 generated gains and all but one dividend or interest. Emose says a vibrant stock exchange can contribute to economic growth in any country, and the recent boost in investment confidence levels has been evident of that.
There was a delay on the part of many companies because of the elections and the political environment. That is changing. So we are expecting much more interesting year this year and going forward as well on the listing front.
Recent positive trends in the market indicate that Fiji's stock market can provide people with attractive options to grow their wealth. The Contiki Group, which has helped most of the companies currently registered on the South Pacific Stock Exchange, has recorded a positive increase in the interest from investors and companies, as well as the growth of the market. Ellen Stolz, FBC News.
Fine apart from few showers was experienced over the eastern parts of the larger islands. Isolated afternoon showers and thunderstorms was experienced elsewhere. An active trough of low pressure remains slow moving over Kiribati, Tuvalu, Tokelau, the Cook Islands and French Polynesia. Maximum temperatures of 32 and 33 were the order of the day. Lambasa, Lautoka and Nadi hit 32 degrees and Savu, Ba and Suva notched 33. Forecast to midnight tomorrow for the Fiji group, cloudy periods with few showers over the interior and eastern parts of the larger islands. Elsewhere fine apart from afternoon or evening showers. Isolated afternoon or evening thunderstorms with heavy falls. Heading into the weekend and Saturday's outlook is brief showers over the interior and eastern parts of the larger islands. Elsewhere afternoon or evening showers and thunderstorms. The main points again. The UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, Zaid Ra'ad Al Hussein, has praised the government's progress in delivering human rights to everyone. The government's Department of Information has been tasked to receive designs for Fiji's new national flag, and organisers of the 39th Fiji Bitamara Sevens are expecting a sellout crowd at the ANZ Stadium in Suva from tomorrow. To this week's poll question, is Fiji progressing well in women's empowerment? Visit our FBC website to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page, FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. That's our bulletin for today. Join the team and I again tomorrow. Till then, ni mo demanda.